Alright, so in this video we're going to take a look at HTML5's drag and drop API. Okay, so much like most of the other APIs, it does involve some JavaScript, but we're not going to do anything too complicated. We're just going to have a logo that we can take and drag into a box that we want to outline with CSS. Alright, so you should have in your resource files, you should have the logo that we'll be using. Alright, which is just an Eduonix logo. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go into the body and create a div, and we're going to give it an ID of box. Alright, and let's see, we'll add some of the other attributes after. And then underneath it we'll have our image. Okay, so it's called logo. I think it's logo.png. Okay, let's go ahead and save that. Okay, so now you can see we have our logo. Now the box div is above it, but we can't see it. So let's go ahead and add a little bit of CSS. So the div has an ID of box, and we're going to just put in a width of 300 pixels. We'll put a height of 150 and padding 10. Border will be 1 pixel, solid, and gray. Alright, so if we save that, now you can see we have a box above it. Now the idea is we want to be able to take this logo and drop it in the box. Alright, so to do that we're going to have to add some JavaScript. Alright, so before we add the JavaScript, we're going to add some attributes here to our div. So we want to say on drop, and we're going to set that to drop, which is going to be a function, and we're going to pass in event. Alright, and then we also need on drag over, and for that we're going to say allow drop and pass in event. Alright, now for the image, we're also going to add some attributes. We want one called draggable, and we want to set that to true. And then we're going to say on drag start. I'm going to call the drag function. And let's also set a width and a height on this. So width 291, which is the exact width of the image. We don't need pixels. And then height is going to be 145. Alright, so now what we have to do is add a little bit of JavaScript. So down here, actually let's put the script in the head, right under the style. Okay, so we want to add those functions. We want allow drop. And there's not going to be too much to these functions. Pretty simple. Let's see, allow drop. We're going to say EV for event. And all we have to do is do EV.prevent default. Alright, because we don't want it to go to a link or anything like that. It shouldn't have any other functionality. Alright, then we have our drag function. And for this, we're going to say ev.dataTransfer.setData, and we're just going to pass in text, and then ev.target.id. Now this data transfer, this is an object that's used to hold the data that's being dragged during a drag and drop operation. Alright, and it can hold one or more data items. And then we'll set the data for that type. And then the final function we want is drop. And for this, we're going to prevent default, just like we did up here. and then we're going to create a variable called data, set that to ev.dataTransfer.getData this time. Okay, so we set it above, now we're getting it, and that's going to be text. And then we'll do ev.target, then .append child, and we need to specify document.getElement by ID, and that will be data. Okay, and I think that should do it. So let's save it and reload. And now if I take this, okay, so that didn't work. Let me see what we got here. Failed to execute append child. Parameter 1 is not of type node. Let's see. Oh, we don't have an ID on the image. So let's put an ID. We'll say drag1. There we go. All right, so we can now drag it and drop it into the box. Okay, so that's drag and drop. We also we're able to edit content inside of an HTML element, and this is going to be really quick. I'm just going to show you. We'll have an H1, and in here, let's say this text can be edited, and all we have to do is say content editable equals true. Okay, so now if we save that, reload, and now you can see I can just edit this heading. All right, and it doesn't have to be a heading, it could be a paragraph or whatever it may be. All right, and we're going to get more into that in our project in this section. All right, so that's drag and drop and content editable. In the next video, we're going to talk a little bit about geolocation.